this is game 1. They probably did start at least 10-15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I guess we could be like in a game 2, which is fine. We usually do wait, but I know it's Geno's first time, but I would imagine maybe 𝗵𝗂𝗇𝗶 would have tried to tell him. But I guess maybe, as you said, maybe for the betterment of saving us a little bit of that time, I'll go ahead and go for the semifinals here on the overlay, and let's try to catch up to speed a little bit. I see a couple of spectators, guys. If those spectators are in the chat, feel free to keep us updated so that we know what kind of situation we're dealing with. Is this just game 2? Perhaps maybe there was an early concession. Maybe this is game 3. I would like to know, just so that we know what we're working with.
Man, Plat over here with +4 attack, +4 attack, +4 attack. Who says Yowler lost show off? I still see +4 over there. Yowler's working it.
Just has to work with a little bit of purgation users, which it looks like 𝗵𝗂𝗇𝗶 working with a whole lot of purgation users. With that, I think it's only the 𝗵𝗂𝗺 though. Does he only have it, or did he bring in the minnow? I'll take a look after this turn.
It looks like 𝗵𝗂𝗺's the only one that would have it on this team. Minnow is in the draft, but isn't in the match. Genosect 2 with 𝗂𝗫𝗪. I feel like I haven't seen 𝗂𝗫𝗪 all that much since like 𝗬𝗬𝗺.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit from 𝗵𝗵𝗺 working with the 𝗂𝗫𝗪, right? We even saw a little bit early this week. We had a 𝗬𝗫𝗺's horn 𝗂𝗫𝗪 from the likes of 𝗵𝗵𝗺 early on. But Rotor trying to take down the 𝗂𝗫𝗪. So down it goes with that simple goring. The hook kick trying to go into the Rotor, and sheesh, 100 down to 0. That is what a +6 go wrong is capable of doing. No reactive ball today. That's impressive.
Who needs Gamma Burst Barnshee when you can just use +6 attack Goron? Wow, 𝗂𝗀𝗽𝗪, that is not an easy feat. That's very scary on both of these sides. Genosect, I thought this was a stall team, but this monkey, nuh-uh, he's out for blood. But now, +4 attack, +4 attack for Plat. I don't know if Goron can survive this. It does have ridiculously high base defense, but it's only at half HP, and those are a lot of buffs, so swapping in the 𝗧𝗵𝗵 does make more sense. Sacrificial 𝗧𝗵𝗵 it is. Nox Bomb from 𝗵𝗺𝗺 though on the Saku. Not enough to kill, but with the double in of Savage Suplex, outspeeding anything Saku could hope for. Doesn't kill either. 12.2%. Just enough to exhaust for the toxic spores, you know. Really big commitment there from Saku.
Yeah, it's a total of 10% commitment. However, that's pretty significant though. 𝗵𝗺𝗺 doesn't really have a way of trying to get rid of these toxic ticks. You do have Revitalize though, right? So nice little 20% recovery, basically getting the death, you know, the inevitable death, what would have been, trying to give him a couple more turns. We don't know what else the Saku is running. If I'm remembering from the Swiss rounds, it had things like Sedative Rain, but apparently Jenna wants to go ahead and bring out that mighty go wrong one more time. Let's see what the Yowler wanted to do. It looks like it was running a little bit low on stamina, so might just rest, and whoa, a +2 on this go wrong. I think this has to be the true win condition for the side of Genosect.
Yeah, I mean, now Goron is +8 defense, so I don't know if those +4s are going to be able to break the wall. It's also Baton Pass, which means that it gained a little bit of that HP back when it swapped in, and it took less than it healed, actually. So that's a fantastic Goron spread.
I think so as well, right? He's been playing awesome this entire time. I think even before the tournament, he was already in like 1600 TMR with this kind of team. So yeah, he has a lot of experience working with a lot of the meta Temtems. But hey, Snraplat not really working with a whole lot of straightforward meta. I mean, there is the Rotor, there's the Gyalis, the Yowlers, but definitely a little bit different strategy than we've seen in the past. So yeah, it still looks like he's doing a good job against these kinds of teams as well. Especially considering because the 𝗵𝗺𝗺 didn't go for the Revitalize last turn. Is it just going to be electing to go out just by itself? Oh, the Crystal Bite goes first, so going down. You know, it might just be the heavy hitter Yowler to do all the work. But, you know, at only +4, this go wrong is going to be a huge threat, especially to your point. That is another Baton Pass proc. So 10% recovery. I'm pretty sure it's 10%. It's either 10 or 15% recovery on that HP. And hey, that is a Earth Temtem staring right at him, which I think hook kick is online because you just swapped in, right? So I don't even think you needed a hook kick because it's only at 30%. Maybe just a simple helicopter kick would surely be enough.
Yeah, heli kick definitely kills the 𝗧𝗏 at this position and does quite a bit to 𝗏𝗨 too, without too much risk of retribution. Although piercing wheel outspeeding anything can go wrong. Not the fastest Tem in the world. Takes about 16% damage. Helicopter kick it out using the rest of its stamina. I mean, it is a good kill, but piercing wheel, that lowers defense, right? Or is...
Yeah, by 2. So
I shows +8 for me.
Oh, yeah, it still says +8 for me, but it should be +6 defense. Maybe a little bit of a spectator bug there. But hey, even at +6, I think it's going to be incredibly tough for this 𝗏𝗨 to take down both of these Temtems, considering how bulky they are. So look at that. I mean, didn't do too much, but a savage suplex trying to add those 2 ticks of exhaustion onto the 𝗀𝗄. But I think Genosect caught wind of exactly that. So going to be taking a rest. And if it wants to commit for another attack, I think he's actually going to just rest again, right? Because I don't think 𝗏𝗨 can afford to let go another attack. And yeah, just a Quark shield on the 𝗬𝗏. If you take down the 𝗀𝗄, you still have to deal with that Crystal Tem. So this is tough. Oh,
yeah, and 𝗬𝗏's slowly been setting itself up to +6/+6 now.
That's right. And oh, Rawrzyyy, I forgot because we were watching the immunity 𝗬𝗏. It was a Guardian, so the little ticks of defense didn't go down because of the Guardian 𝗬𝗏. Good call. Good call.
Oh, that is a lot of damage on 𝗏𝗨. Savage suplex fighting back though from 33 down to 10 with that big exhaust. Can we get another tireless, Brock?
Yeah, it looks so, but yeah, I think, you know, 𝗏𝗨 can do the crazy gods working 1v5, but in this situation, these are just the impenetrable walls, right? These guys are going anywhere, and vice versa. The 𝗬𝗏 going into the Crystal Bite, the hook kick closing the book on Snraplat's tournament run. Actually, that's me assuming. Did we have a game 1? Or... I mean, that definitely wasn't the first game here. So, guys, let us know. You guys are already in, so let's get it going.
If we base it purely off of the amount of Tems to pick from, Genosect has the advantage.
Yes, sir. I think so as well. But that didn't stop him in game number 1. So perhaps it's not going to be stopping him in game number 3, which he's back on the blue side, right? Maybe that's all it takes, having that early counter pick advantage. But to that point, Genosect has played Rawrzyyy for 2 games in a row, so now he has to be the most familiar he's ever been. As I said before, with those speed, with those movesets, with those gears, you can't change anything. So, you know, if you could have changed something, maybe Snraplat would have added another Temtem in there. I think he did this on purpose. What do you think, Rawrzyyy? Do you think he did it on purpose?
Yeah, I do. Plat's definitely not the player that's going to make that kind of mistake. If he did, I think that there would have been a laugh about it on round 1 when it was noticed. I don't think that it would have gone on this long.
Yeah, I mean, something tells me he also did it on purpose, because you don't make a comp team without an empty spot, right? So I think he was just trying to give us a good old laugh here in the commentary booth, or for everyone watching at home. But he still means business, right? We are in that game 3 situation, so he's not going to go easy on his opponent by any means. So starting out with the perfect purgation target. So we know how this probably is going to be going. 𝗀𝗄s tend to go where early game rush. Try to get that +2 attack from that overexertion with the rush. And then Piranha is just going to be clicking purgation on the big old bear. So maybe just a nice little setup turns to start things off.
Yeah, I wonder with 𝗏𝗨 turn 1, it's really just has to be targeted, right? Otherwise that clinch doesn't get comeback or won't be doing nearly as much damage. And it's kind of just a small turn. It doesn't accomplish too much. So it almost works out in Plat's favor that he's against Genosect, who is largely just going to be setting himself up, not focusing too much on aggro early on. So there isn't too much of a threat here, and 𝗀𝗨 is probably going to get the time to click block.
Yeah. Or toughen, right? Either or. I think the same idea, right? Plus defense up. That is going to be exactly the game plan for that 𝗀𝗨. But I'm trying to think, what is a turn one for this from this Saku, right? Because most Sakus have a little bit of a wind burst, but I don't think there's an offensive move pool, so might just go for like a Lifeful Sap. But this should be interesting. So who is going to be progressing into the grand finals? Both of these guys, or actually I was about to say both of these guys haven't made it, but technically of course Snraplat has been there multiple times, but today is his stepsister, of course, so maybe the first appearance for Snraplat in our grand finals. Let's go ahead and jump into this final game. As we said, might just be an overall setup turn. And to your point, it might just favor Snraplat because a little bit of a slower pace does favor the setup with the +2 attack purgation user.
Yeah, I mean, we do see Purgation into clinch and Rush to start to set itself up with a Toxic Spores. So Saku not even clicking Lifeful Sap immediately, not focusing on its own well-being. Above doing a little bit of damage to Piranhayant, and that makes sense. We saw last game when we came in rather late, Piranhayant had clicked Purgation like 8 times or something absurd like that. So getting rid of it early, it's a pretty good call.
Oh, and okay, that is usually a good strat from those stall players. They try to overexert each other. So, oh, even overexerting its own to try to get that +8 attack, or not +8, but just +2 attack. But taking the same idea, 𝗏𝗀𝗀 going in on the 𝗀𝗨. So now we see exactly how does 𝗀𝗨 manage to get his way all the way to +4 attack. Does he maybe go for something like a Toughen this previous turn and get a huge raid boss 𝗀𝗨? Because that would be pretty impactful, I would say. Because Go Wrong could get all the way to +8. But a Toughen going double defense up is exactly what he needs. You have those comebacker potentials. But ignoring the 𝗀𝗨 because of most likely the nutrition bar, trying to gun hole on rather the purgation user, which I can definitely respect that, right? You want to get the one that is doing all the buffing.
Yeah, but it is allowed to survive for one more purgation as 𝗀𝗪 is so slow. Piranhayant will die to the poison, which means no more purgation for Plat. But I wonder if the damage is already done. +6 𝗀𝗨 with 100% HP, hibernation available and unclicked. This is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, you never ever want to find yourself in a situation facing off this 𝗀𝗨. I could only imagine what Genosect is thinking. I mean, he obviously has a great game plan. He took down the one purgation user on the team. So this is it. He understands there's no more buffs coming through, but you know, just saying that is it is not even fair, right? A +6 attack, 150% on those savage suplexes coming in is gonna be a huge amount of damage. So let's see, doesn't want to take that damage with the Go Wrong, trying to elect to take it with the 𝗬𝗏. Where does the 𝗀𝗨 focus down? Let's go ahead and find out. Unless he wants to maybe conserve some stamina, of course.
Confetti, welcome to the board, pig. Trill impact onto 𝗬𝗏 does about a quarter. Savage suplex onto 𝗬𝗏 does so much more than a quarter. 6.6% left on 𝗬𝗏, just like that. I mean, Plat did lose the first Tem, and it was pretty much uncontested at the time, but now fast forward just one more turn, and ooh, it looks a little different.
Yeah, looks a little different indeed. You know, one thing that 𝗏𝗀𝗀 has been able to do this game is try to not let Genosect set up, right? Every successful attempt or every successful game that we've seen Genosect thrive in has been with those mighty setups. So hey, this is, I guess, the beginning of those setups. A nice little sacrificial sacrifice from the 𝗬𝗏 onto the pig. It's most likely still going to be that Goring direct damage, so nice little 20% or so, but the stone wall going to be adding on top of the sacrifice. Sheesh, this pig is massive all of a sudden in a single turn. +6 defense, +4 special defense. Man, this pig is going to be dirty because I think it has things like Divine Inspiration to try to recover some HP. I think it has things like... Actually, what else does it have? Bamboozle? I don't think it has the rain, right? I think that was only the Szaku and the Momo we saw.
Yeah, I don't know if it gets Sanative Rain or not, but Ruler does swap out, as I think +6 hook kick was enough to OHKO last time, so we don't want to let that happen again. Goron gets targeted by that piercing wheel without the Shween next to it. It does take that hit this time to its defenses, but with a block, it's all right back. Chain heal it up as 𝗧𝗲𝗺 doesn't have any HP damage taken. It just means Goron gets a nice little chunk back, 87% at +6 attack, +4 defense. This is pretty terrifying now. 𝗬𝗨 back on the field, untargeted as well, still at 100%. It's kind of just that stamina war, right? If Goron goes for a really big attack, it's losing so much of its own HP to its overexertion that it might not actually be worth it, as 𝗬𝗨 comebacker could just finish it off.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think what Genosect has been thinking, he knows that 𝗬𝗨 is wearing that nutrition bar, so not trying to invest any resources attacking it just yet, trying to let that wear off. But the hook kick impacting the 𝗧𝗲𝗺, going to 100 all the way down to 0. And now I believe that was the final exertion for the Goron to have that whopping +8 attack following turn. But knowing that the Bamboozle was going on the Goron, going to be throwing the Savage Suplex on the Pig. But I think the setups are finally coming together for the side of Geno, right? You have the Tireless, you have that +4 defense from those blocks earlier on, and now the Pig only taking about less than 30%. So that's definitely going to be, what, 3 Savage Suplexes or even more, right? Because it didn't even do a third. So yeah, 𝗬𝗨 has to throw a little bit more into the Pig to try to follow that up. So yeah, nice little helicopter kick potentially, but swapping out the Pig, not trying to afford any damage just yet. Gonna be swapping into the Golder for now.
Yeah, getting some nice exhaust on everybody, potentially forcing 𝗬𝗨 into an OX. Helicopter kick does pop the evasion on Goron, but then everybody else rests. So Plat, knowing that Golder was potentially swapping in to do that big OX to force 𝗬𝗨 into a difficult position where either it takes a lot of damage or Ruler swaps in and potentially dies to a +8 Goron. And that's really, I think, the game plan now for Genosect is just protect this Goron with Pig still really healthy as well, and with Divine Inspiration available to do a little bit of healing. If Goron can kill 𝗬𝗨 and Ruler quickly, things will spiral out of control for Plat.
Yeah, I believe so as well, right? I think those might be the final Temtem surviving for Genosect, right? The Goron and the Pig could be those last two to try to inch his way to this grand final seat. But swapping in the Pig-a-Peck looks like it's going to be a double swamp, so just trying to preserve the Goron as much as possible. As we mentioned in the previous game, it does have Baton Pass, so there is a lot of values for swamping in, swamping out multiple times, but you need to try to take care of the Pig as you can. And okay, that is 26%, so one more Savage Suplex will be doing the job. Did 𝗬𝗨 already invest Crystal Bite on it? I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, 𝗬𝗨 did target out that spot with a C-Bite. It was not as much damage as you would expect the 𝗬𝗨 to deal, but at +6, that's kind of what Pig was going for, right? And now there's really nothing stopping Divine Inspiration this turn. I feel like Goron is relatively safe swapping in for Szaku, knowing that it can't be a Savage Crystal Bite this turn. At the most, it would be Hook Kick and Clinch. It could also be a Golder swap to try and put the exhaust on both of these Tems, see if any more OX shenanigans could take place for Genosect. There are definitely some options simply due to the amount of Tems that are still alive.
Oh, and it's actually going to be the Pig to swap out. I was actually thinking he would go for something like a chain heal to try to recover some of those HP up. But instead, it's going to be the Goron. Maybe thinking that the 𝗬𝗨 will outspeed. But, oh, that explains it. Trying to get the Bark Shield on the tanky, powerful Goron. And, okay, the 1-2 punch. The 1-2 would have ended up killing the Pig. So, I think this was the appropriate play for the side of Geno. So, well done. It still did some decent damage, but nothing the Pig can't heal up down the road. But now it's time for 𝗧𝗵𝗆 to make some decisions here, because to your point earlier, he is running low on stamina. If Golder comes in with the mom's lunch and they click those buttons, that's going to be a massive amount of overexertion. So I think 𝗧𝗵𝗆 gonna be taking a little bit of a chill pill this following turn, just try to recover some of the stamina and then try to progress his board state further along after that turn.
Yeah, I think because of the threat of that mom's lunch, it is pretty much free for Genosect to do as he pleases with the Gorong this turn. I would imagine we see Pig swapping back in though, rather than the Golder take advantage of the pressure and not even necessarily capitalize on it. But Gorong retreating instead, not wanting to go for the damage, just trying to get as many baton pass heals as possible, as Golder does come out with that big OX on a Crystal Bite, eating it just fine with his own natural bulk. And 𝗬𝗏 is down to 65%. I don't even think it's been attacked yet.
Yeah, I don't even think the bait has procced. You're absolutely right. The refreshing 𝗬𝗏 gonna be going on the Golder, recovering a whole lot of that recovering 25% of that HP, which matters a lot on the Golder because, as you said, it is rather tanky, so should be pretty good. You know, could have gone on the Gorong, but it could have been a little bit risky. But or not, I think having the mom's lunch come out is probably the better play, because look at that. You basically attack the 𝗬𝗏s for about a third of the HP, right? So that is an impressive play to say the least. You kind of accomplished two things at the same time.
Yeah, Rulder finally swapping in as Golder swaps out. I didn't even realize their names rhymed. I've been playing this game for 2.5 years. Gorong comes back in, gets another baton pass proc, Savage Suplex. He doesn't even really mind, as it's not that much damage, and this exhaustion's not a problem for Tireless. Sanative Rain, it is here with 100% HP on both Rulder and Yowler. It's only healing for Gorong. That is best case scenario for Genosect, and now Hook Kick is incredibly free on this Rulder spot. Either you kill the Rulder or potentially kill the 𝗬𝗏. If it's an Oko and 𝗬𝗏, that is incredible damage. That's taking out a really, really strong Tem and forcing a position where Rulder has to stay in and die the following turn. I think the only pressure that puts on Genosect is trying to maintain Gorong's health. I think that Pig pretty much is forced to swap in and go for that divine inspiration. Just gotta get the health back up on Gorong.
Yeah, either the divine or the chain heal potential, but you're absolutely right. The hook kick looking dirty, looking devastating for the side of 𝗧𝗵𝗆. Does he just let the rotor go? It just doesn't feel like the right play, but 𝗬𝗏's looking kind of good. The bait hasn't even proc, so against some toxic tick, shenanigans like the rotor the Saku can do might be a little bit valuable. But as you mentioned, the Pig having to come in, but the Gorong. So wait a second, Rawrzyyy, this hook kick looking crazy, and down the rotor goes 100 all the way down. That is what a 200% hook kick looks like. So down to the final two Temtems, even though 𝗧𝗵𝗆 had that early game advantage, it looks like the stall, once it got things rolling, once that rush applied, once that mom's lunch turned 2 overexerted it, it just started really getting things together. And yeah, Genosect putting on a perfect showcase against the likes of 𝗧𝗵𝗆. Final two Temtems, I mean, they're really good Temtems, but look at the board of Genosect, right? You have to deal with a Gorong, a 𝗶𝗶𝗆, a Saku with that defense, and the Lifeful Sap potential. This is a huge mountain to climb for 𝗏𝗏𝗆.
If Gorong is taken care of, though, Plat definitely has the opportunity. I think, though, the difficulty is really just this mom's lunch spam. The more you do it, the less stamina Plat has to work with, the less damage he can realistically do, the more likely you are to get those free swap-ins, taking up that HP with Baton Pass when these Tems are overexerted. But Plat, knowing that Golder was coming in over and over again now, he just rests. He maintains his stamina, he maintains the hold of his moves, and now he threatens out the Golder pretty much. Yeah, I mean, Savage Suplex is going to destroy this Golder, combined with the Crystal Bite. Probably kills anything that would swap into the spot, or just about does so.
I think so as well, and just knowing that he's going to be bringing in the go wrong on the other spot that isn't going to be targeted, so doesn't spend the crystal bite, goes for just a sharp stab, going for the savage suplex, and almost enough to take it all the way down, 4% just remaining. So maybe should have clicked something like the hook kick, something like the crystal bite, but going to be protecting the go wrong for this turn. This turn going forward, but Golder on death's door, just a simple little helicopter kick will take it down. But I love the way Genosect has been playing Goldrong with that baton pass. He knows from experience that he tends to want to protect it going forward in these games, so he swaps in so frequently that it gets a tremendous amount of value, right? If we could calculate how much HP purely has been recovered from the baton pass, that has to be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 40-50%, maybe just in this match alone. But the hook kick, let's see, can 𝗬𝗚𝗚 hold on? The answer is going to be a big old fat no. 𝗬𝗚𝗚 versus the world one more time, and I actually think the world will be taking him down a little bit too heavy today.
Yeah, I mean, considering Gulder was saved, Mom's Lunch swapping in once again, I mean, forcing the rest on 𝗬𝗚𝗚, I think it would put a Genosect in kind of an odd spot, having to swap it around to avoid his own OXing, but it doesn't even matter. We're going to see the concession. Plat sees the writing on the walls, knows what that big old Gorong is capable of at +8 attack, and just thinks better of it. Oh, they're in draft. They're just finishing up Pickman, so this might be headed into game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a game 3 because Magia went to a game 3. So I believe this should be the final game of our semis, and then we'll get our grand finals rolling. So as I keep saying, I ended up starting the tournament later because we were finishing so fast. But I guess starting the tournament later enabled more players to play, making it a little bit longer than we usually do. But hopefully that is okay. Not only with casters, but maybe some of you guys here at home. Hopefully it's not getting too late for y'all. But here we go, guys. Final game of our semifinals. I'm assuming is just 1-1 as we mentioned.
Oh man, did we just see striking Mimit lead? That's incredible. I mean, if it outspeeds the hasty lunge with the DNA and takes over Rolder, that's really solid. Obi doesn't really want to stay though, right? There's not really the best swap-ins though. This is really good aggro lead for Szax if he's able to outspeed the Mimit.
Yeah, and you know, it should be able to outspeed because of that Rusher trait, right? So it does have that +2 speed. So it should favor him, especially if he's clicking something like a hasty lunge, if he is wearing that. Oh, but DNA extraction could be outspeeding. Maybe he clicks Sparkling Bullet. And we've seen this 1-2 combo many times as of right now. The hack marker chip going to be allowing one bamboozle on the right, the other bamboozle on the left, virtually protecting him for free in this opening turn.
And giving harmful microwave synergy. That's fantastic. Purgation onto Rolder, though. Not even going for that big old hasty. Drill impact, getting hit on the boozle. Now, turn 2, there's no way for these guys to boozle themselves again, right? It would only be a burrow, and there's no way that that's outspeeding anything other than a stone ball. But at +2, potentially even +4 attack on Rolder, depending on how fast this Minotaur is, it could be a rockfall outspeeding that burrow.
I could see that. I could see it. Keep in mind the target rush isn't there yet, so Rotor most likely still the slowest Temtem on the board, but it would still be a significant amount of damage to say the least for sure. But I think the Minotaur went for Sparkling just to pop the bamboozle, right? Because I'm pretty sure it would have done more damage than the simple 12% we're seeing here on the Obi. But you know, the harmful microwave did about 1/3, so 2 harmful microwaves on the Minotaur might just be all it needs. So that's harmful number 1. Is there harmful number 2 incoming most likely?
Yeah, you know it is. 23 is not enough. Minotaur goes on down. Ruler doesn't get us another buff. And even through the burn, too, that's really impressive. It is a lot of damage onto Obi at the end of the turn, though. Bush is available. So Obi could protect him and his friends, keep themselves going just a little bit longer. But if this is 𝗬𝗺 coming out, I don't know if Gromi wants to keep 𝗬𝗶𝗶 on the board. 𝗬𝗬𝗺, maybe he does.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's getting so much tremendous amount of value as the, for the beginning of these turns. But Rotor slowly but surely hasn't taken anything in that. +2 attack, that is an incredible Temtem to deal with, right? It still has the reactive vial potential. But hey, maybe there's one Temtem that could put it to sleep literally with that dozing hit. But oh, Rotor gonna be swapping out for the 𝗶𝗺. Make that a 𝗬𝗵𝗶. We don't see that every day. We usually see the big old daddy grandpa.
I gotta say, purely from a Luma Inspector opinion, keeping it 𝗬𝗺 is more appealing. It's definitely a better looking Tem than the grandpa. But now Doom just like that. Who knows about camaraderie? No, couldn't be this poor 𝗬𝗺. He's going down no matter what in 2 turns, because we've already seen marbles on this 𝗬𝗬𝗺. There is no handcuffs. We can't see the plague to knock it off. There's nothing Rawrzyyy can do, and I mean, maybe like a plague and a lullaby from 𝗬𝗺 could do it, but there's still just no way.
Oh, wait a second. You play. Wait. Plague and a stare. That's what it was. So did sacrifice a little bit of HP to do so. But wait, you had to stare your 𝗬𝗬𝗺? Wait a second. What was that about?
Expecting the evasion to go first and stopping that stare, but I don't think that mattered, right?
Unless it reads, does it have to make connection?
Yeah, it does have to connect. It does have to connect. If it hit the boozle, it wouldn't have given alert.
Yeah, so a little bit.
𝗬𝗬𝗺.
Yeah, poor 𝗬𝗬𝗺 indeed, because something like a 𝗬𝗬𝗺 might just be one-shotting the 𝗬𝗬𝗺 with a -2 defense, right? Nice little 33% reduction. And 𝗬𝗬𝗺, I say that, but Gromi doesn't really click too many offensive techniques, so I have no idea if he's running 𝗬𝗬𝗺 or not, honestly. But just in case, Szax gonna be swamping into the good old 𝗬𝗺, and it is a 𝗬𝗬𝗺, so should be doing at least 20. Somewhere in that neighborhood. 𝗬𝗺 kind of tanky there.
Turbo #1. I've got to imagine that 𝗬𝗺 is just going to do it again. But now Digi threat once more onto 𝗬𝗺 to doom it again. If it doesn't work once, just keep on clicking it. 𝗬𝗬𝗺's not here anymore, so there's no more plague help. 𝗬𝗬𝗺 doesn't really want to swap in, but at the same time, 𝗬𝗺's so low HP. Is it even worth clearing this doom? Maybe just go for another maybe stare for the future so Rawrzyyy can play nice, and then turbo 𝗬𝗺 HKS on your last turn of 𝗬𝗺.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, right? Because you're going to have to do a Plague, right? Plague is almost going to do 30% alone, but the stare doesn't make any connection. But the major slash, that was what the 𝗵𝗶𝗶 was popped for. Let's see how much it's going to do. All right around that 30%. Well, the Matter teleport should be a little bit more than the 𝗬𝗬𝗺. But man, 𝗬𝗺 is so tanky. It's not even tanking 50% there. 𝗬𝗏𝗺, do you recall if 𝗬𝗏𝗺 learns a Hypno? I think it does, right?
𝗬𝗏𝗺 learns Jinxed Whisper.
That's what it was.
I don't actually know if it learns Hypno as well. I think it does, because I remember doing a weird meme thing with it before with Nightmare Feed.
Okay, because I thought maybe he could try to Hypno the 𝗬𝗺 if he felt he could outspeed. Just to try to control it a little bit and just focus it down. But I think just damage, I can respect this from Gromi the Doom player. Sometimes you just need to do damage. And speaking of the hypnosis, 𝗶𝗺 with that speed advantage will be sleeping the mimetized 𝗬𝗶. The extra energy slam going to be waking up, but it should be slower than the 𝗬𝗶 since that was a +2 speed already. Oh, what am I talking about? Soft touch is obviously a thing. So going to be snoozing on these next couple turns.
Yeah, and 𝗬𝗏𝗺 just went for a rest that turn, right? So not even choosing to burn that stamina, attacking 𝗬𝗺 with a potential swap, keeping its stamina up so it can fight Rawrzyyy potentially.
Yeah, perhaps. So he still has the 𝗵𝗵𝗶 in the back line. But speaking of that +2 attack, Rotor is going to be making an appearance now. And there is no Digi threat user, because that is the one cleanest answer to try to deal with the Rotor, is just doom it out, right? If Digi threat was online, that is actually the easiest way to do it. But he has to be a little bit careful, right? There's only 2 more Digi threat users, is the Mimit and is the OB under that 20%, and any of these Temtems, especially the rotor, will easily do 20% on either of these Tems. So it has to try to tread lightly, maneuver his Temtems appropriately, and in comes the Volgon. At this point, I feel like it's just a damage eater, but there goes the Hypno is applied, and it will be on the rotor just to give him a little bit more breathing space for these next couple turns.
Man, that is unfortunate. With the whip on 𝗬𝗆, it overexerts for the Hypno, meaning that this 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is now kind of bulked, right? He's already +4 speed. Held Anger is available if he's running it. This could be a really big hit onto Volgon, as Rolder's just forced to sleep.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think he wants to spend it on the 𝗬𝗆, of course, since it is going to be half effective. So the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 comes in. I'm wondering if it's going to be something like a Strangle from Volgon, but oh, he goes for the mental spot. Not going to be accomplished too much. Despite being a Held Anger, it goes for the willpower drain, thinking it was going to outspeed, but the turbo doing wonders for the Tatter, right? That +4 speed, effectively doubling up on his speed, over speeding that 3 priority willpower drain, because that would have been a huge overexertion if the drain went first. So nice little speed advantage for Szax. But even though it's going to be still looking like a tough road for him.
Nutbar is crazy. This 𝗧𝗵𝗺 just got willpower drained essentially for no gain, because it just got all of that stamina back. And it healed like what is it, 7%, 6%?
Yeah, you're so right. It's just so bulky, and recovering from a willpower drain is massive. But oh, look at that, 𝗲𝗏𝗧𝗏 going to try to take down the +2 attack rotor. That's a nice little cheeky play from the 𝗬𝗵𝗶. Just in case it was destined to kill the Volgon. Apparently not good enough this time.
Yeah, wiping away that +2 attack, wiping away the speed as well, although it is still in Tourney Rush, so it's not quite as slow as Gromi would hope. But that is a really good start. I think that now you've triggered the reactive vial. You just have to survive for a few turns, and then 𝗬𝗵𝗶 is going to be incredibly viable against both of these Tems.
I think so as well, and that was a nice little swap out for Gromi Momi. Now Digi-Threat's online, and it should be the faster of the bunch. Oh, I say that, but Tatter's of course at +4 speed. So is there a world where that little major slash gonna be looking at that 𝗵𝗵𝗆, trying to get off before the Digi-Threat synergy? This is actually gonna be impactful, right? If you kill the 𝗵𝗵𝗆, that's gonna be saving either the rotor or itself, right? So I'm curious if this 𝗧𝗵𝗺 does outspeed. I'm thinking it does.
Yeah, I think that 𝗵𝗵𝗆 is not going to be fast enough, especially with Goring available. 𝗵𝗵𝗆 just falls down victim to its own +2 speed, thinking it can do it, not able to accomplish. The major slash onto 𝗬𝗵𝗆 doesn't do all that much damage, but then it fails. It just said it failed. What did it click?
Bamboozle. It said bamboozle on my screen. But yeah, it looks like he was trying to use that fat burner, but Tardy Rush is just too massive. It's basically they both have Tardy Rush. 𝗧𝗵𝗺 with the Tardy Rush, that is really frightening. So yeah, can Gromi, he still has the Temp advantage, but it doesn't really feel that way when we're looking in terms of HP, right? Only one more Digi-Threat user, 2 more mentals, everything's getting rather low, and we can't really say the same thing about Szax's team, right? So this might just come down to the very end, but it looks like Szax was falling behind earlier on, but covering up some ground here in this mid-game action.
Yeah, definitely just whittling away the HP with 𝗧𝗵𝗺 attacking mentals. It's working. And Rolder looking really, really terrifying into this endgame. It still has stamina to play with. It's got Tardy Rush, which means it'll potentially be outspeeding even that +1 𝗬𝗆 with the Rockfall later on, which I guess not later on. Held Anger from 𝗧𝗵𝗺 abusing all of this pressure. It's been allowed to maintain staying on the board. 𝗬𝗵𝗆 down to 18%. Matter teleport onto 𝗧𝗵𝗺. We've already seen it do less than half, so we know that the Tot's okay. And Held Anger from Rolder as well. Not even burning any earth techniques right now. Just going for that 𝗬𝗵𝗆, confirming that kill. I mean, that's really, really solid. Now there's only one more mental to fight multiple neutrals, and Rawrzyyy fights back just as well.
I think so as well. You know, if the rotor outsped the Mimit, which was already at +2 speed, is gonna 100% outspeed the normal Mimit, right? Or apologies, the normal OB. So you can't really get off the Digi-Threat. You need to find a wiggle room where the rotor is overexerted. But I think 𝗂𝗄𝗄 is just easily going to be outspeeding, as we are seeing right now. I'm wondering if he would have swapped out, could have been a little bit better. But perhaps he couldn't overthink it too much and just try to click that Digi-Threat button. But there is no more Doom. That was the last Doom. 𝗬𝗏 overexerted. Things are going from bad to worse for the side of Gromi. He did an incredible tournament run today. I thought he would be the first plus pack to make it to the grand finals. But I do think Szax is looking heavily favored, especially considering the rotor is still throwing down. The 𝗬𝗏 overexerted. And yeah, it's a little bit too tough, right? You still have a Stone Ball to the face. You could just recover a little bit. Oh, so close for Gromi. But I'm actually proud of Szax as well. He did an awesome job making it go all the way to a Game 3 situation. 𝗬𝗀𝗺 should be killing the 𝗬𝗏, but oh, it actually does not.
Oh, with the overexert as well. That's so unfortunate. Plague just trying to get even more OX damage, but 𝗬𝗏 is a little bit too fast with that +1 from earlier +2 from the multiple whips of 𝗂𝗂𝗚. But now Rawrzyyy still just kind of hanging out. 𝗧𝗵𝗶 from 𝗬𝗏 taking advantage of the turn, doing a nice chunk of damage, and Stone Ball absolutely finishing it off.
I couldn't agree more. Final attack of our semifinals. GG, guys. Round of applause. Szax playing out of his mind with the 𝗶𝗏𝗺, mind you guys. 𝗶𝗏𝗺 apparently the true killer of the meta. And he has a couple other great Temtems as well with the Tower, with the 𝗬𝗏. And that will close us out for the semis. So